A fairy type support. We haven't had one since a very long time now. The last being Springberg, who came out 2 years ago. Is it the fairy type support we've long been waiting for? Can it surpass the likes of free-to-play Sycamore, free-to-play Kali? Or is it just a mediocre fairy type support? In this video, we discuss the good, the bad, the ugly sides of Sygna, Mina, and Tapu Fini. So strap on your seatbelts, sit tight, let's begin this analysis video. Here we go. Yo, this is Sol, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, your artist Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX, and in this video we discuss the good and the bad sides of Sygna, Mina, and Tapu Fini. But before we begin, guys, as usual, don't forget to always hit the thumbs up button as you begin watching these, as it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Not a big deal for you guys, but for us content creators, it really means a lot. And we are on our journey to 10k, and that will really help us get to 10k subs. So please do it right now and tell me in the comment section, that also helps with the YouTube algorithm, if you are scouting for one copy of her, or maybe more than one copy, or are you completely skipping her and focusing on the other Tapus instead, or probably completely skip this month's sync pairs, or probably go for the rerun banners or something like that. Let me know and I will give it a heart and a thumbs up if I see your comments and maybe reply to you guys, some of you. So this one is is the second of the sync pairs. And if you want to know more about the sync pairs of this update, guys, not just Sygna, Mina, you can check out my May 2023 pairs who to scout for video, where I discuss each one in depth. Or if you want just one copy, you are curious whether getting one copy will make a difference or not, you can check out my 1 out of 5 or none out of 5 video, where I discuss each one in brief, one copy, what they are capable of. But in this video, I will focus on Sygna, Mina and see what she can do. But before we begin, as usual, I would like to give a huge shout out to all the members of my channel. Guys, if you want your name to pop up here, kindly click on the join button if you see it. You can become a member of my channel for as low as $1 a month, and you will be helping out a good cause. These videos take a long time to do, and you know, I would really appreciate it if you will become a supporter of the channel. But you know, no need to do that, just hit the thumbs up, that's enough. But if you want an extra support, go ahead. And thank you also to the awesome gifters of my channel, my members who have gifted extra memberships to these guys. Thank you so much for your extra generosity, each one of you to the left side. Thank you all so much for your support. But with that said, we begin our discussion, starting off, you know, with our timeline of events. Sygna Hao is already done. He is a tech sync pair. And Sygna Mina is the support. In fact, we have 3 supports in this update. Sygna Mina, Agatha, and Sygna Azarola. As a Pokefair, she has a maximum 5 out of 5 grid. So if you want to maximize her potential, you have to get 5 copies of Sygna Mina in order to completely unlock her sync grid. But as usual, you don't need to do that unless, you know, you just want to completionist mode or something, because it's quite expensive unless you are lucky, or else you probably will use a lot of gems in order to do so. So as a support sync pair, if you 6-star EX her and use her sync move, you will get a double sync buff. And that will power up your sync pairs a lot quicker than just using another sync pair to use the sync move. 6-star EX support sync pairs normally are the sync pairs that use the sync move first just to power up the entire team. Now the other supports, well, Agatha is a variety scout, Lance is a variety scout. You are guaranteed 1 copy of them if you have 7,000 paid gems, and if you go for the paid route, you will get 20 custom power-ups in order to make them 20 out of 20. Just give them champion spirits to make them 6-star EX. And the sad thing about Poke Fairs like Sygna Suit Mina is that if you scout on their banner, no presents. So you don't get anything good by scouting on their banners. You just get a 10% chance of scouting for a random 5-star sync pair, and a 2% chance. 2% is better than the Master Fair 1% chance of getting the featured unit. 2% chance of getting the featured unit, and the 10% chance of scouting for a random 5-star sync pair. That applies to all the Sygna suits in this update: Sygna Suit House, Sygna Suit Minas, Sygna Suit Acerola, and Sygna Suit Lana. If you're aiming for 5 out of 5, there are 4 sync pairs. Again, I would like to say that this is the first time that DNA has released 4 Poke Fairs in one update after the 5 out of 5 expanded grid update. DNA has been experimenting on this. They started off with 1 or 2 sync pairs. They released 3 sync pairs pretty recently. I think it was, I forgot, was it Sygna Suit Lysander, Annabelle, and Emma? And then now there are 4, which is shake my head. If they continue to do this route, you know, next time we'll be seeing 5 Poke Fairs in 1 month. And again, Poke Fairs now have a 5 out of 5 grade. Anyway, guys, rant over. I'm just telling you that this progress, this route that DNA is taking, I do not support it. So if you do not support it, probably send feedback to DNA. I'll leave that to you guys to say that, you know, they should release permanent units. I like that we get our main character 6-star EX. Finally, a lot of customization unlocked, but 4 Poke Fairs in one update, 5 out of 5. I mean, if it's 3 out of 5, it's okay, but 5 out of 5 is just getting greedy. And we haven't had a permanent unit since at least 3 or 4 months ago. Think about that. Before the season of limited time units is just December, January, February, just 3 months, and then, or rather 4 months including the anniversary month. But now it's been the seasons, half a year of limited units. Hiya. But anyway, guys, rant over. Check out my how many gems we can get video if you haven't seen this, because we discuss how many gems you can get for your budgeting of your sync pair scouts. Anyway, guys, here we go. Sygna Suit Mina and Tapu Fini. If you see this background image, congratulations, you have successfully scouted for Sygna Suit Mina and Tapu Fini. It's a unique background until a rerun banner in the future where probably they will combine all the Tapus and you will be confused which one is which, because all the Tapus share a pretty similar background. The colors of the pillars or whatsoever just get slightly different, but that's about it. If you see this background image, congratulations, you've successfully scouted for Sygna Suit Mina and Tapu Fini, and she is a support sync pair with 1 attack. Your attack is Draining Kiss, and this is a recovery attack. You use this on an opponent, you recover a little bit of HP. Around 10% of what you use from Draining Kiss, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. A little bit of percentage from whatever you attack the opponent with. Another move that you can use is Rain Dance. And this just makes the weather rainy. Now, in terms of synergy, we do not exactly have other fairy type sync pairs that benefit from rain. I think this is a first that a fairy type benefits from rain, or if you know anyone else, kindly tell me in the comment section so that everyone will discover who the sync pairs are. But in terms of grass, you know, Acerola, Sygna Suit Acerola is a grass type sync pair, and she can bring in grassy terrain and sunny day. And if you know, grass types have a lot to do with synergizing grassy terrain and sun. So Sygna Suit Azarola is a much better support sync pair in that regard, as you know, there's a speeding sun, there's charging sun, there is whatsoever. Grass types have a lot to do with sun, but fairy types don't exactly have a lot to do with rain. In terms of pairing her up with water types, I guess that is okay. But pairing her up with other fairy types, well, she can bring in Fairy Zone. So, you know, her first passive skill is Fairy Zone debut in Extension 5. So what this does is that at the start of the battle, it brings in Fairy Zone. And this extends the duration of Fairy Zone to around 1.5 sync move cycle. So you're guaranteed to use your first sync move while Fairy Zone is still active, and then by the second half, you know, it will probably end there. But you can always bring in another Fairy Zone. I'm jumping from place to place now. At 3 out of 5, if you get Fairy Kingdom over here in her sync grid. So get 3 copies, get Fairy Kingdom after you use your sync move. You can bring in another Fairy Zone. And again, after using another sync move, you can bring in another Fairy Zone and Fairy Zone and Fairy Zone with Fairy Kingdom at 3 out of 5. But that is at 3 copies. If you have 2 copies or 1 copy, you cannot bring back Fairy Zone unless you have Sygna Suit Wally with Fairy Wish or Sygna Suit Hop with Fairy Wish as well, and they will benefit from this sync pair's Fairy Zone Extension 5. It will extend the duration of Fairy Zone, and that is good. But in terms of herself on her own, she cannot bring back Fairy Zone unless you have 3 copies and you get the Fairy Kingdom. So she also has a buddy move called Be Protect, and what this does is that it will give everyone a damage guard next effect, just like how Protect works, but for everyone. And when there's a Fairy Zone, you will recover 30% HP. I will assume that you will always use this during Fairy Zone, but if there is no Fairy Zone, you will only recover 20% HP. This will deactivate if there has no zones, weather conditions, or terrains. But you know, there are times that you activate this. For example, Fairy Zone is almost over. You use Be Protect. You queue it to your moves. So you have 2 other moves before your Be Protect. During those 2 moves, your Fairy Zone goes away. You only recover 20% HP for everyone that way. And then, if you have Rain Dance, or if it's raining, you get to restore everyone's lowered stats back to normal, back to 0. And how do you do this? Well, a lot of sync pairs lower their own stats. Like, for example, Close Combat lowers the defense, lowers the special defense. So, if you have your defense -1, -2, -6, you know, by using Be Protect, when it is raining, everyone's lowered stats will go back to 0. And then you have a trainer move, Pretty as a Painting. This basically raises or gives you a critical hit defense, so you don't get hit by critical hits. And raises the special attack of all your allied sync pairs +4, but if it's raining, you get to raise everyone's special attack stat +6 instead. So probably how you want to use her is that you use Rain Dance first, then you use Pretty as a Painting so that everyone will get their special attack maxed out. It will also give everyone a gradual healing effect so that you will get regen every single time you attack an opponent. That's that. Sync move, nothing special except it's not a generic sync move, it's Twinkle Tackle. And in terms of her passive skills, well, Team Whimsical Special Damage Reduction 3. If the field is Fairy Zone, everyone in your team will get to receive less special attack damage if the opponent attacks you with special attacks. And Pony Ocean Breeze. Every single time you activate a weather condition, terrain, or zone, you will have everyone's defense and special defense raised +1. So you're guaranteed for this to trigger at least once at the start of the battle because of Fairy Zone debut and extension 5. At the start of the battle, you start with Fairy Zone. So this Pony Ocean Breeze will raise everyone's defense and special defense +1. And again, as I said, you probably want to use Rain Dance next. If you use Rain Dance, everyone's defense and special defense will be raised +1 again, so that's +2 already. Then you use Pretty as a Painting to maximize everyone's special attack stat, to give everyone a critical hit defense, and to give everyone a gradual healing effect. And then probably use Draining Kiss, Draining Kiss, Draining Kiss. And then you probably, before you use Be Protect, probably you use your Sync move first. Sync move. Then probably you want to use Be Protect next, but the rain is almost over, or the rain is already gone. You use Rain Dance to raise everyone's defense and special defense +1 again. And then it'll, you know, you use Be Protect. Recover everyone's HP 30%, give everyone damage guard next, and return all your allies' lowered stats to normal. That is how I would probably use Sygna Mina. Her defense stats are not bad, although they're not exactly impressive. 288, pretty average. HP, well, same for all the other Tapus at 611. Speed stat, not too bad for a 2-move gauge attack. And special attack, well, that's the attacks that you're looking for. Special attack, 180. Probably don't expect her to deal a lot of damage to the opponent. Okay, let's go back to the Sacred. 1 out of 5. Why did I not remove Turbocharge 2 again? Let me remove this Turbocharge 2 because this does not exactly belong here. So let me remove this. Alright, so at 1 out of 5, you get Flameproof and Stalwart. 2 out of 5, you get Dragon Guard to receive less damage from Dragon type moves. Draining Kiss, Flabbergast to confuse the opponent. Draining Kiss, Move Gauge Refresh. Pretty as a Painting, Full Bracing Command. Raise everyone's, or rather, raise your own defense and special defense when you use Pretty as a Painting. Now, you can only use Pretty as a Painting once. So, it is completely up to you if you want this or not. Probably if you have 2 copies, get this. Probably if you have more than 2 copies, get something else. Pretty as a Painting, MP Refresh 2 just to give everyone that extra regen effect, as well as return all allies lowered stats to normal if it's raining. And probably going for the... what else? Critical hit reduction. Critical hit reduction. Quick Cure, Raising Rain, speeds up the move gauge when it's raining. Rain Dance, move gauge refresh. Rain Gear, you receive lower damage if the weather is rainy, only for her own. Whimsical Acceleration, if there's a Fairy Zone, your move gauge will charge faster. I think this is pretty okay for her because she will be using Fairy Zone a lot of times. Now, take note. If you pair her up with Sygna Hao brings in Electric Terrain. Electric Terrain can stack with Fairy Zone. Don't worry about it. Electric Terrain can stack with Fairy Zone. Electric Terrain can stack, or rather, Fairy Zone can stack with Sunny Day. Fairy Zone can stack with Grassy Terrain, but Rain cannot stack with Sun, and Electric Terrain cannot stack with Grassy Terrain. So Sygna Mina, don't worry about pairing her up with all the others except probably for Sygna Azarola, because Sygna Azarola brings in Sun. But then, you know, you bring in Grassy Terrain. Grassy Terrain is completely okay with Fairy Zone. So, take note that zones can stack with weather and terrains. But if you are using Sygna Mina together with probably, with Aura Cynthia. Aura Cynthia brings in Fighting Zone. Sygna Mina brings in Fairy Zone. They will overlap each other. So whatever zone comes in last, I don't know, but take note that you don't want your sync pairs zones to overlap each other. That will just make them worthless because you're using her for Fairy Zone extension anyway. So, 3 out of 5, as I said, you get Fairy Kingdom. This will, every single time you use her sync move, this will bring back Fairy Zone. And if Fairy Zone is not yet over, well, that's okay. It will just reset Fairy Zone and reset the extension time and stuff like that. Rain Dance Barricade Buddies 1, when you use Rain Dance, raises everyone's special defense stat +1. Plus the Pony Ocean Breeze. Remember, if you use Rain Dance, if you set up a weather condition, you raise everyone's special defense +1 and defense +1. So that means your special defense will be raised +2 instead. I think there's one for Rain Dance, another one for defense. I'm not sure if it's at 4 out of 5 or somewhere else. Or is there none? Anyway, I don't see it right now. Maybe there's none. Sync Wall critical hit defense when the sync move is used for the very first time. You can already bring in critical hit defense by using her Pretty as a painting trainer move. So this is optional. Team's Sharp Entry 1 is the only way you can use her to raise everyone's critical hit rate. So this is not exactly a sync pair that can max out everyone's critical hit rate. If you're looking for a critical hit rate buffer, use another sync pair instead to do that. She cannot raise everyone's critical hit rate past +1. Team Smart Start 1, start of the battle, give everyone special moves up next effect that powers up everyone's special attacks by 40%. Team Whimsical Immunity, if the field is Fairy Zone, nothing. No opponent can give you status conditions. This is good against Entei. Was it Entei? Or was it... I think it's Entei? Or was it Moltres? Who loves to burn you. If you have her on your team with Fairy Zone active, you don't have to worry about getting burned. Because the opponents cannot burn you because of Team Whimsical Immunity. Plus, she can also set up rain, which makes your life easier. Now, as a Pokefair Scout, again, we have the 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 grids, which I'm not supportive of, but 4 out of 5, you get Adrenaline 1. Reduces the sync move countdown after your first sync move. And Rain Dance Catalytic Kick 9 speeds up the move gauge if you use Rain Dance. 5 out of 5, you get Draining Kiss Master Healer 1, which recovers your HP a little bit more than just normal Draining Kiss. I think this is, instead of 10% recovery, it's 20% recovery. This is actually a big thing. But your special attack stat is not that high, so I'm not expecting a lot of recovery unless you have a very high sync buff already. And the second sync pair with 5 out of 5 Synchro Healing 1. After you use your sync move, every single time, you'll restore everyone's HP by 20%. This is a very good tile, especially if you want to keep Fairy Zone active. If you just want your other probably Fairy type sync pairs to just focus on attacking, no worries about using everyone else's sync move. You just want Fairy Zone active. You just keep using Sygna Suit Mina for the sync move. You have Fairy Kingdom, set up Fairy Zone, Fairy Zone, Fairy Zone. Every single time you use a sync move, you restore 20% HP, 20% HP, 20% HP. And I think I forgot to mention this, but she also has Refreshing Rain 1. So if it's raining, when you attack an opponent, you get to restore a little bit of HP. Not only this, you can give herself and everyone else a regen effect by using Pretty as a Painting. Was it Pretty as a Painting? Or was it Be Protect? It's Pretty as a Painting. So, you can get to restore her HP quite a lot of times. Draining Kiss, Pretty as a Painting regen, and Refreshing Rain. So, you get to restore your HP 3 times. Then, after you use your sync move, if you have 5 copies, you have Synchro Healing 1. But, as always, I like to say that DNA, why give us limited energy? This is for 3 out of 5, guys. 3 copies for the sync pair. Important for me, you get Fairy Kingdom. Turns the field of play into Fairy Zone. Every single time you use her, Fairy Zone, Fairy Zone, Fairy Zone. Probably to bring back that regen effect, we get an MP refresh for Pretty as a Painting. And this is completely optional. We got a Barricade Buddies 1. Raises the special defense of all allied sync pairs. Can I remove this? And remove this? And probably get Team Sharp entry instead. I don't think I have enough energy for this one. I have -3 energy. But if I remove Rain Gear 1 and get this, I have enough for Team Sharp entry 1. So that's one of the grids. Another grid is, well, the exact same thing that I just showed you guys earlier. Except that you can choose another tile over here. So Team Sharp entry 1 to raise everyone's critical hit rate. Got Whimsical Acceleration to speed up the move gauge when there's Fairy Zone. And most of the time, there will be Fairy Zone active. So I would want to use this. Now, you have 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. This is a 5 out of 5 grid. I got a Team Sharp entry 1. I got a Draining Kiss Master Healer 1. So that I will be able to recover a little bit more HP. We got Synchro Healing 1 over here because most of the time she will be my first sync pair to use the sync move. Unless you pair her up with Sygna Suit Wally. Sygna Suit Wally's buddy move will unlock after a sync pair in your team Mega Evolves. And this sync pair cannot Mega Evolve. So probably use Sygna Suit Wally for the sync move first. Then use his B... I forgot, was it B Dazzling Gleam or B whatsoever, to lower the opponent's attack and special attack -4. Then probably use her for the second sync move so that you recover HP. But take note that I failed to get Fairy Kingdom because I do not have enough energy to get this. If you want Fairy Kingdom, you would have to make some adjustments like this. I did not get Team Sharp entry 1. I did not get Draining Kiss Master Healer 1. I got Synchro Healing. I got Fairy Kingdom. I got Rain Gear 1. And DNA, kindly add energy. I said this before. 5 energy please per move level. That's not asking too much. Just give us 25 more energy and look what 25 energy can do. I got 18 energy. Just getting this. If I remove this, I get this. 23 energy. I just need 25 energy, guys. 5 energy per move level so that we can get important tiles and we do not sacrifice tiles. 5 energy for move level 1 out of 5. 10 energy for 2 out of 5. 15 for 3 out of 5. 20 for 4 out of 5. 25 for 5 out of 5. DNA. Listen and give us 5 energy extra per move level, including 1 out of 5. Alright? You know, we already have all the sync pairs in the game except Jesse and James with expanded sync grids. We do not need our sync orb area anymore. That becomes a redundant area, especially for those who do not scout new sync pairs. We do not need sync orb area anymore. Can you give us energy area? Sync orb energy area? Sync grid energy area? A special item, a special thing that we can farm that gives us energy. If you want to give us more levels, 140 to 150 with certificates of excellence, probably give us this item also. Right? Right. Alright, rant over, let's move on. We're done with the main discussion. Again, we're going back to the timeline. This is the second sync pair that comes out. You have roughly 2 months, 1 month rather, 1 month, the entire May to scout for her. And she's a support sync pair. Again, don't expect to deal a lot of damage. In fact, if you look at the stats wise, she has the lowest special attack stat out of the bunch. Highest special defense, but the lowest special attack stat out of the bunch. And that, I like to say that stats are not everything, but you don't exactly get a lot from her multipliers. You get a Fairy Zone, you get a special moves up next effect, And what this does is at 3 out of 5, after you use your sync move for the very first time, you can give everyone special moves up next effect. Was it like that? Or was it at the start of... I think it's at the start of the battle, you can give everyone special moves up next effect. It's like something debut, something. Let me just quickly check that. Team Smart Start 1. Team Smart Start 1 gives you the special moves up next effect, but that's just one stack. And for the sync move multiplier, it's just Fairy Zone. And don't expect her to deal a lot of damage. But at least she's not as bad as Agatha in terms of the sync move and in terms of the DPS, as you can see over here. But, you know, get to recover HP, get to recover HP, get to recover HP. So, that's that. So, are you scouting for Sygna Mina? Time for a quick refresher. Sygna Mina is a fairy type sync pair that can bring in Fairy Zone, Extension, and Rain Dance. There are no fairy types that benefit from Rain Dance except for her. But, you know, there are fairy types that benefit from that Fairy Zone extension. A lot of fairy types. All the fairy types will benefit from the Fairy Zone extension. And water types will benefit from the Rain Dance. But if you compare her with Sygna Azarola, who is a grass type that can bring in Sunny Day, a lot of grass types benefit from Sun. So, Sygna Azarola handles this role perfectly. She's also a support sync pair. Sygna Mina is kind of weird in that aspect, but if you use her, she has team or something, the Fairy Zone immunity, status immunity for everyone. So if you use her in a battle against Entei, or was it Moltres, who loves to bring in burn, sunburn, everyone gets burned, you know, just by having Fairy Zone active, you will never be hit by status conditions if you get 3 copies. I think 3 copies of her. Plus, she can do Rain Dance, which just helps you in the battles against the water type weaknesses of Legendary Arena. You know, most of the people now are just scouting for Legendary Gauntlet. 1 extra battle, Sygna Mina can help you with that 1 extra battle. But in terms of damage, nothing that significant, nothing that crazy. In terms of defenses, you can bring in everyone's defenses to at least +3 with her initial Fairy Zone. With 2 uses of Fairy with Rain Dance, you can bring everyone's defense and special defense to at least +3. So that makes her an offensive special attacker, supporter, as well as halfway a defensive supporter. She cannot raise critical hit rate except for Team Sharp Entry 1. That's just critical hit rate +1. That is equivalent to a 50% chance of landing a critical hit with normal attacks, but a 0, or was it higher? 0% chance of landing a critical hit with a sync move. So don't expect to land critical hits with your sync moves if you do not have any other critical hit rate supporters aside from Sygna Mina. But what do you think, guys? What are her good sides? Good sides, again, we have already discussed that. Bad sides, well, synchro healing, 5 out of 5. Bad side, again, fairies. Fairy types do not benefit from rain. Water types do not benefit from Fairy Zone. And ugly sides, well, I don't exactly know, because Fairy Zone is good. And this is the, you know, Sygna is the other fairy type that has a zone extension. And in order to get that zone extension, you need 5 copies of Sygna. This one, you just need 1 copy. So I have nothing that bad to say about Fairy Zone for Sygna Mina. But with all the sync pairs that are out, can you scout? Do you have enough gems to scout for Sygna Mina? Tell me if the good outweighs the bad. I think they're pretty much balanced. No ugly sides here. But tell me what you think. Good or bad? Does the good outweigh the bad, or the bad outweighs the good? But, as always, I like to end with my favorite quote, which is, go for your favorites and don't just always follow the meta. Yes, Fairy Zone extension might be meta. You know, always good to have the Yantha powered up. Always good to have... What else are our fairy types? There are a lot of other fairy types right now. Powered up Bead is a fairy type. You know, what else? Another bad thing, by the way, is that Lily, our fairy type, the normal Lily with Clefairy, has Synchro Healing built into her kit. And this one, Synchro Healing, is locked at 5 out of 5. An unfortuitous 9 at 3 copies, I think, for Lily. So every single time you attack an opponent with Disarming Voice, was it? Or was it Dazzling Gleam? Everyone will get their stats -1. Meanwhile, this one just attacks one opponent, but you recover a little bit of HP. But that aside, Lily is also not a critical hit supporter, but you can use full power to guarantee that your next attack is going to be a critical hit. Lily cannot raise defenses. Lily can raise accuracy, Lily cannot raise defenses. Meanwhile, if you compare her with another support, another fairy type support, which is Springberg. Springberg can raise everyone's defenses. Springberg can raise everyone's critical hit rate. Springberg has a way of raising everyone's attack and special attack, but it's pretty slow. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you scouting for her or not? Let me know in the comment section. But that is the end of my good or the bad and the ugly and whatever video for Sygna, Mina, and Tapu Fini. Let me know that I did a good job by hitting the thumbs up button with my discussion. And subscribe if you haven't. We are almost at 10K. We're going there very quickly right now. I'm glad that things have sped up since I've started doing shorts. I'm gonna do a short of this as well. Good luck if you're scouting. And yeah, good luck. Good luck getting 1 copy, 2 copies, 3 copies, 4 copies, 5 copies. Remember that this is only the second sync pair. And we have 4 more sync pairs coming. And the worst thing is, it's not spread out in the month. It is every single sync pair is in the first half of May. Hiya. Hiya. No time to save up gems. Every single sync pair is in the first half of May. Shake my head. Anyway, guys, thank you once again to the gifters of my channel. If you want to be gifted, make sure your gifting is on and make sure that you are hitting the thumbs up, commenting, subscribing. Your notifications are set to all. You know, you do everything to become active so that you have a higher chance of receiving a gift membership just like these awesome people. Or if you're impatient, you just want your name out right now and you want to support the channel even more, click on the join button and you can join the likes of Shadow, Phil, Alcin, Roy, Luca, Jeremy, who have been supporting me for 2 years, Sasrin, Iwis, who have been supporting me for more than a year, and Marokman, who is at Ultra Ball, Aurora Espion and Yuki for Great Ball, Shido at Premier Ball, and Tatsuya Gold, Kundan, Pokefriendo, and Edward at Pokeball. Thank you all for your support. And with that said, I am done. I hope my microphone is acting better now because I have been rewatching my streams and I was not thrilled about my audio quality. I've adjusted some settings. Hopefully they're better now and hopefully I probably need a better mic. Time to get a new mic soon. After I get a new PC, a new phone. Hiya. I need to get a lot of new things this year because all my things are dying. Shake my head. That's it. This is Sol, also known as Spiel Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, your artist Team Skull Grunt. I will see you in the next video. Rawr.